This is an important story. The Supreme Court has decided to take on a case about religion that has actually massive impact for workers. The case is called Catholic Charities Bureau versus Wisconsin Labor and Industry Review Commission. And here are the details. Wisconsin, like many states, taxes employers to provide unemployment benefits. However, Wisconsin also exempts employers that are controlled by a church and are operated primarily for religious purposes. And Catholic Charities wants a tax exemption to avoid contributing to unemployment benefits, which it has abided by since 1972. In other words, using religious exemption in order to screw over your workers. So Wisconsin's state Supreme Court recently ruled that its religious purposes exemption applies only to employers that primarily engage in religious activities, such as holding worship services or providing religious education. The court found it does not apply to organizations like Catholic Charities, which provides secular services like job training or feeding the poor, even if the organization is motivated by religion to provide these services. So in other words, Catholic Charities does not meet the requirements to be tax exempt. You gotta be an actual church, which is, look, let's put that over here that it's wild that like clergy or people who work for a church wouldn't also need unemployment benefits should something happen to them or should they lose their jobs. Let's put that aside. But like, if you're not providing the services or you're not an actual like, house of worship, you can't just, be exempt from these labor laws. But Catholic Charities lawyers are saying that the distinction between religious and secular services violates their First Amendment religious liberty protections in many ways. Among other things, they claim that Wisconsin discriminates against religions like the Catholic Church. Sure, Jan. And they believe it's an obligation to serve those in need without proselytizing, and that Wisconsin's law interferes with the church's right to manage its own affairs. Now, again, it does apply to all religious institutions. And I'm not knocking Catholic Charities. I'm sure they do good work. I'm more excited about a charity organization than I am about a Catholic church. Do you understand what I'm saying? As that's just sort of where I am politically. But like giving more people the ability to not pay into unemployment benefits could spell disaster. Because now the Supreme Court is like, hang on, a Catholic charity wants to violate labor law? I will pluck that from a lower court and argue it. The court is likely to vote in favor of Catholic Charities, again, given their sympathy to the people who are bringing the case. But how they issue their opinion is up in the air. One possibility is the court distinguishes institutions engaging in commercial activity from organizations engaged in charitable work. According to Vox, if the court wants to issue a narrow opinion favoring Catholic Charities, it could rule that its decision applies only to organizations engaged in charitable work and makes it clear the ruling doesn't apply to any group engaged in commercial activity. In that case, it would impact a smaller number of workers. However, one concerning possibility, there's a chance the court ignores this line in favor of the legal reasoning that drove a more recent decision in 2014. The Supreme Court held that private for-profit businesses may in some instances seek religious exemption from federal business regulations. Again, remember Burwell versus Hobby Lobby being that private institution. Hobby Lobby is not a place of worship, but they did decide that private businesses whose owners object to some forms of birth control on religious grounds are exempt from federal rules requiring employers to cover contraception in their employees' healthcare plans. This is all a way to use religion as a cudgel, as a cover for actually passing anti-worker legislation, right? Because it's birth control one day, it's broader healthcare another day. Just, you know what, my religious teachings around Jesus Christ tell me that we actually should not provide healthcare to our employers or unemployment benefits, because that's what Jesus would do if he ran a bloodthirsty corporation. So again, there's a reason the Supreme Court's picking this up. There's a reason. It's because they want to, again, deliver for religious institutions. They want to deliver, they want to basically smack workers around as much as possible.
When you click the join button and become a tier 2 member, you get access to all of our weekly top 10 lists. What are you waiting for?